Fewer employers are letting go of their domestic workers during this COVID-19 period, say employment agencies. And because of multiple travel restrictions, the Centre for Domestic Employees is also urging those who cannot afford to pay their helpers during this period to transfer them to other employers instead of terminating their work permits. Kelly Wong with more.
For the past month, Sarah Dang has been juggling looking after her 2 kids and work. Her domestic helper had gone back to the Philippines to visit her family and is unable to return due to COVID-19 travel restrictions. Mrs. Dang contacted her employment agency, which suggested getting a nanny or a temporary helper.
She not offer me any of new transfer helper because she said right now in the market is also not a lot of demand, but there's not so much of supply, so she's not able to offer me any of new helper also.
This agency currently has no transfer helpers on its list, and it says the industry transfer pool has also declined by at least 80% since March.
Because employers are not able to get a replacement, so most of them will hold on to their helper, which means that they will not release their helpers out for transfers.
And since the transfer numbers are low, Mrs. Ng says the industry is not settled with housing those without an employer. Typically, housing for transfer helpers vary between agencies. Some might house them on their own, while others put them up in dorms or hotels.
It's not a pressing issue now because the transfer helpers are snapped up so quickly. There is a huge demand for transfer helpers. So even if the transfer helper were to come back to me today, they will probably get an employer within the next 2 to 3 days.
So far, the agencies say employers are keeping their helpers, but this may change as the pandemic takes a toll on the economy.
We're going to see employers, losing their job, and that means domestic workers will be, released by their employer. So I foresee that there is going to be an increase in the domestic workers being available for transfer. So in a way, I would say that the market would balance up because we have an aging society. There's always a demand for caregivers. There's always a demand for families with younger children who will require domestic workers.
The Centre for Domestic Employees also reminds employers to treat helpers fairly during this period. This includes proper rest during their day off or paying them if they have to work.